Hey there, it's me again with another one of my little geeky videos. Now, it's Geek Tee Friday when I'm doing this, and I'm wearing this geek t-shirt, Villains Vigilantes. I don't know if you can see that very well. Villains Vigilantes. I put some pictures up in the blog. It's got a back print as well. You can't really work it out, you can just see my fat bum, sorry about that. But yeah, basically, this t-shirt is an official t-shirt. I actually got it printed up myself because it's from this magnificent, awesome, one of my favourite role-playing games of all time, Villains Vigilantes. That's the front of the t-shirt, you can see. Yeah. And there's the back of the t-shirt. Well, it's back of the book as well. It's basically got the back print done of, basically it's the book on a t-shirt form because I don't think it was ever available. But I love this game so much. My first sort of proper part-time job, I was still at school. I was doing sorting mail at the sorting office, and there was a shop on what's that bloody? I can't remember the name of the road now. Grazing Road. I knew it was something to do with my name, Grazing Road, yeah. In North West London. And there's a role-playing game shop there. And my very first wages that I got, I went in and I saw this, and I love my superhero stuff. I know there was a Marvel game and there was a DC game. I never bothered with either of those games. I just saw this one. I was like, yeah, that's cool. But the art's pretty cool. It's not probably the best art. I'm not sure. I mean, there was a comic that came out of it as well, actually, that I ended up collecting as well. It's not. I don't think this guy ever actually drew for comics properly. Don't think so. Was it Jeff D? Yeah, Jeff D. But I like his style. I like his characters. They all look pretty cool to me. But anyway, that's not the important thing. The important thing, it was a bloody good game. And with my little gaming group, which was mainly my brothers and cousins, played it to death. Well, one cousin actually, and one brother really, more than anything. But yeah, we had a quite small group. But we had and a couple of mates as well who play it as well. But basically, I've collected this so much over the years. I don't play it anymore. I ain't got no friends to play role-playing games with. It's probably been 20 years since I last did a role-playing game, I'm not sure. But I've still got a lot of my old stuff, and I've still obviously got such fond memories about it. These are some of the books that came with it. Most Wanted is a book of different characters. Death Duel with the Destroyers. And I've got all these add-on books, like with basically just adventures. And I've never even used them, to be honest. I've got them, looked at them, gone, okay, took the characters out of them to use in my own campaigns. Opponents Unlimited. That's another book full of characters. I think I might do a series of videos about this topic, telling you more in depth, maybe about individual campaigns, that kind of thing, individual games that we did, individual characters and groups. I'll see how I go, see how I feel, see if enough people watch this that are interested. Devil's Domain, it's another one. The Dawn of DNA. I mean, there are other role-playing games for heroes, and I had quite a few of them. Hero Quest, Champions, Heroes Unlimited, but this one was the only one for me, to be honest. When I played Champions, the main thing I liked about Champions is it had the little character on the character sheet you could colour in, and I spent all my time creating characters and colouring them in. But it was such a hard and long, drawn-out system of points to assign your characters that this one was easy. The idea of this one, you were supposed to play yourself. So you kind of like guesstimated what your statistics were. Your strength, your endurance, your charisma, your intelligence, and your agility. I believe were the statistics that you had to choose. And you just said what you thought your characteristics were, and then you played yourself. And then you might have then you rolled like randomly for your powers. It wasn't too terrible a system for working out everything. Every statistic gave you like a points modifier that you had to times by each other, and then times it by then you had to times it by your hit points. So your basically your weight, every 50 pounds of weight was a basic hit point. So a basic weight point. I don't know. You times it by. It was quite. If you wasn't used to it, it was hard. But once you started, it was once you got it down, it was easy as pie really. And I've made so many characters. This is the original box it came in. As you can see, it's got a little bit flattened. Unfortunately, that's a bit of a disappointment. It's got a bit flattened. There's a little character sheet there, a little thing there. So nothing else much inside here. Like that's just all the books that came with it. And these are all the folders that I associated with this game. This is the amount of folders that I used for different teams, different adventures. One of my mates, Martin, he actually James mastered it as well. He had his own campaign, so in his game I had a couple of one was called the Reckoner, who was like a kind of Punisher kind of guy. You know, say it's time for a reckoning would be his catchphrase. He was called the Reckoner. Another reason he's called the Reckoner because he had weird sensibilities like Daredevil, where he could just look at something. He could say, "Oh, that's 6.5 yards away," and that's you know, he could just measure everything like with his senses. It was really weird, and that would have allowed him all kinds of hit bonuses, and like, you know, he could bounce bullets off something and know where it's going to hit. That's actually a picture of him. There's the Reckoner. Oops. And on the back here, I don't even remember this. On the back, there's a picture of him, a body armoured, even more body armour. I don't know. I don't remember him playing like that, to be honest. There's so many games over the years I've forgotten most of what I did. Oh yeah, did I tell you the other character I played in one mate's campaign was called Man Trap? He was kind of like I don't know. Basically, he had snares and stuff like that, and he'd snare people. He'd like entangle people. That was his main power. But he was like a sort of fast, agile kind of guy. Kind of maybe like a bit like Blue Beetle, but a bit more. Yeah. I remember one time we had a fight, and there was a big guy, and I didn't think I'd be able to take necessarily. So what I did, I sort of every time I said, well, he comes at me, I try and catch him round the arm with my rope. And so I caught him around the arm, like he made a savings throw for it, and then I managed to get him around his leg, and then I got around his other leg, and that was it. He couldn't move anymore. But I didn't have to sort of beat him up physically. I was able to just capture him. But that's me thinking outside the box, with being a GM, knowing all the blinking rules to sort of get past things, you know. Right, so here's some more. Like, these are all the folders basically. So that's lots of superhero teams that I may go into. Maybe videos in the future if anyone's interested. So let's have a look. This is a folder here of dead characters. These are characters that are dead. Mutants, missing or dead, it says. Yeah, my mate Martin, who was also GM'd when I was doing it, he had loads of characters. He had about four characters for different campaigns that we were doing, so it was all good fun. But here's a team, Gauntlet, the Enforcers. I think the Enforcers, that was the team that came with the original box. It comes with a campaign called no, it was the Crusaders, wasn't it? Not the Enforcers. Yeah, Crisis at Crusader Citadel was a book that comes with the original box, and I'm pretty sure that I've got those characters as well, because I'd use all the characters that I found in the books and add them to my campaign. There was a magazine called Adventure, a role-playing game magazine, and they had a team called. There was a Canadian team. Something I think it was called Maple Force, but I don't think it was. It might have been Maple Force, or that might have been my own Canadian team that I made up. I can't remember now. But anyway, the Enforcers, Circle UK. It's basically because there was a European team called the Circle, which is kind of like like the old Justice League. They used to teleport to different places when they needed to be there. That's what they kind of did, but in Europe. The Round Table. That's not a bad name for a superhero team. The Black Watch, they were a team from Scotland. I think the Black Watch is a military army unit up there. So look, what's in this one? Oh yeah, this is how deep I started getting into it. I created a new sort of character sheet thing where I was going into the NPCs, mainly the supervillains, in great depth about nationality, social level, notable features, family, base operations, goals, languages, personality, equipment, costume, combat tactics, quirks, phobias, psychoses, loves and likes, dislikes, affiliations, enemies, arch foe, That's how deep I was going into it at one point. I didn't actually get that far into creating a full list of that. I went fairly far though. Let's just have a look. We've got Aardvark, Atlas, Aton, Chess was quite a lot of the characters I never got to play though. I literally made so many super villains. Circuit Breaker, Cryo Girl, Destroyer, Dolby. I feel I must be running out of names. Shudder, Barbaric Justice. A lot of the names I got from heavy metal bands and heavy metal songs. Barbaric Justice was a song by a band called Turbo from Poland. Turtle, he was quite good. He was like an eco-terrorist turtle. he had fights with my mate Martin's character, who was called the Crab. So the Crab and the Turtle had a few dust-ups. Let's have a look. Yeah, so I did quite a few of them actually. Another thing that I did, I made an alternative, because I had so many different campaigns going, I made a world called Earth 55, which I decided was the same world as my Dragon Warriors world, which is another, like a fantasy role-playing game, which was the first game I got into. And I decided it was the same world, but many centuries afterwards. So I used the same spells for the characters as what was in the Dragon Warriors books, and also a couple of, like, artifacts that were used like as new things back in the Dragon Warriors day were refound in the later day. I think my cousin's character was called Gauntlet, and he had armour that was like basically discovered from one of the old, maybe it might have even been one of his old characters from the Dragon Warriors game that were reused. And I mentioned before in a video, I can't remember if I did or not, but there was a book called The Chronicles of Morgaine by Vanyi Shire, and I like that, but it was a really cool book. And it was Morgaine was like the main woman, and she was like kind of like a elfish kind of person, like an elder race kind of thing, and she was closing these gates, like dimensional gates, and she had a human follower called Vanyi Shire, and I took him. I made the story that he accidentally went through one of the gates with Morgaine's magic sword, so he went to my Dragon Warriors world from there, and then later on he turned up in my Villains Vigilantes world after going through another gate and moving to a future world. So yeah, that was interesting stuff. Right, this is the first superhero team that I created, because the thing is, you're supposed to play yourself. So I live in Leytonstone in East London, so I had the secret base for this group was like out on Wanstead Flats behind my house, under the ground kind of thing, and we'd have fights with local little landmarks, like there's a gas factory down the road somewhere, not quite sure what it was. It was a gas storage centre or something, and I had the super villain Kill Dragon, and they had a massive dust up with him there, so that was quite fun using local landmarks. But yeah, so the first ever team was called Powerhouse. That's a really good name for a team as far as I'm concerned. If you don't like that name, then you're no friend of mine. Powerhouse is an awesome name from the team. And can you guess where I got that name from? I got it from the Mighty Mouse theme tune. Mighty Mouse, Powerhouse. He's the bravest, he's the strongest, he's the best. Yeah, so that's where I got the name Powerhouse from. Yeah, so I had somebody did a few pictures for us. So that was my old school friend Reginda's character. I think I can't remember what it's called now. It wasn't a very good name, but it was Transflame, his name was. Transflame, because he could do what's that power called? Transmutation, was it transmutation? No, well, anyway, he can walk through walls and he turn into fire. This is Humongous. Humongous. He was quite big. That's another one of my old school friends. This is a guy called Phantom. This is Sparrowhawk. Yeah, I could probably talk for ages. I don't know how long this video is going to be and how I'm actually interested. Oh, here we go. Black Lightning. Yes, so obviously some of the names have been used before. This was my brother's character, Thunder Fists. He had super speed. Plus he had like kind of a bit like Colossus. He could change his parts of his body into metal. So that was Thunder Fists. Here's Kill Dragon. So Kill Dragon started off as a bad guy, a member of the Terrible 10. But he was kind of like a simple, like he was being led astray kind of thing. But I remember in the fight they had with him, there was a massive dust up, and after about halfway through, he just went, "I don't want to play anymore. This is not fun." And he ended up being part of their team. And then we have Atom. There we go. There's Atom. He doesn't grow small at all. He's not like the Atom from DC Comics. So yeah, so Powerhouse is like, and then yeah, I can't think of what else to say. Oh yeah, here's something else to show you. Right now, I used to just sit around basically. I'd spend my days sitting making up characters. Obviously, like less than a tenth of them, probably less than a 20 of them ever actually got used because there wasn't there was only so many games you could play. But they're all there in my head still, they're all there in my heart, and maybe I'll tell you more about them at some point if anyone's interested. But I doubt they will be because everyone's got their own stuff they're more interested in. Right, so these are the books that I used for creating characters in. This is the first one. It's got Powerhouse written on the front, although it wasn't Powerhouse characters. Let's have a look. Flash Strike, Mind Shock, Touche. He was a character who had a good long-running feud with the Crimson Knight, my schoolmate David's character. Screech. Viper, I think Screech ended up becoming a good girl actually. Blast Pole, Cold Shadow, Frantic, Mindshine, Traveller, Shatterskin, Alchemist, Werewolf, Trident, Muddle, Saw, Queen Bee, Hopper, Ice Glide, Whisper, Storm, Blaster, Naked Flame, Gauntlet, Sniper, KO Kid, Puff Marina. I think he had like powers of like a what was them pufferfish, pufferfish powers. So he was called the Puff Marina. Not the best name in the world. Demolisher, Floater. That doesn't sound right, does it? Exo Girl, Vigilante. Okay, that's fair enough. But these books, that's the second book that I ever did. But these, then I sort of managed to get these books. There's 88 pages. There's 88 characters in each one of these books, if memory serves me correctly. So I've got 2 books, I think, for the rest of the world. 2 books for the rest of the world. I think 2 books for the USA. Sorry, it's Earth 52, not Earth 55. There's the Earth 52 villains. Some of them, anyway. Yeah, there's 2 books for American characters. 2 books of Earth 52 characters. Got one book for male villains from Europe. 1 book for female villains from Europe. This one is just I don't know what's in here. Just probably English or British villains. But anyway, loads and loads and loads of characters. Loads of origin stories. Yeah, loads of randomly rolled up powers. But anyway, that's it. I really can't think of anything else to say, and I don't suppose anyone's that bothered anyway. Right. So I'm off. Yeah, Villains Vigilantes, bloody good game. Yeah, I think it has been reprinted a couple of times. I think it's available at the moment as a PDF kind of thing. So I think you can get it as a PDF. But there was a lot of argy-bargy between the people who wrote it, Jeff D and I've forgotten the bloody name now. The other guy, Jack Herman and Jeff D wrote it, but it was out on Fantasy Games Unlimited, and there's a lot of hoo-ha between Fantasy Games Unlimited and Jeff and Jack, and so it was out of print for a long while. They wanted to get the rights back so they could reproduce it themselves, but there was courts and all kind of things involved. But yeah, I think it's available as a PDF. I recommend it. I personally recommend it. It's a very good game. A lot better. Like, Champions was just so long-winded, but this is easy as pie, and great fun as well. I loved it. Anyway, that's it. That's it from me. I might do some more videos, maybe. See how it goes. Anyway, cheers.